One of the things that I have learned recently on my journey is that there are certain things that I closed the door on in the past because I didn't have the capacity to succeed in those things at the time. So I closed the door and I said, that's not for me. I have tried that. It didn't work. I wasn't successful. I'm not going to do that again. What I'm learning now is some of those things that I had closed the door on and written off and didn't even consider, I'm seeing now that I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm stretching, my capacity is increasing, my love is increasing, my stability is increasing, my awareness is increasing, and I'm looking at some of those opportunities again in a whole new way. Some of those opportunities could be relationship opportunities. Maybe I say, I tried with that person in the past and it just didn't work. So I'm done with that and I've closed the book. Maybe it's a business opportunity. I stepped out and I tried that in the past and maybe failed because I didn't have the right resources or the depth within myself or the commitment within myself to see it through. So I've closed the book on that as well. Maybe it's just stretching out and trying to continue education. Maybe it's a health lifestyle change, something that I want to do for myself physically or financially, relationally, whatever the case might be. Maybe I'm saying I want to dive deeper into the things that God has for me and I want to seek that out. And I'm saying, well, I tried that before in the past and it was okay for a while, but then I failed. And so I closed the door on that as well. And so what happens is we get to a place where we look around and all of a sudden it's like all the doors around me are closed. And it's not that someone else closed them, but it's that I close those doors myself. Because who wants to fail over and over again? Who wants to feel stress and pressure over and over again? But the beautiful thing about the journey is that thing that overwhelmed me 5 years ago, now in the state that I'm in, I'm not going to react, respond, or engage in the same way. Why? Because I am not the same person. And that's something that I find myself saying when I start to see a situation that looks familiar, or I start to think of things and some old feelings might come back and some feelings of having failed or maybe not done the right thing in that situation. It makes me want to avoid it. But what I realize is if I come through that place of healing and I make my way into a place of strength and stability, now when I look back at that thing and I feel those same maybe anxious feelings or uneasy feelings, I can say to myself, you know what? You're not the same person that was dealing with that situation before. Yes, it overwhelmed you because you didn't have what you needed at the time, but you can only be what you are and you can only have what you have. So maybe at that time I didn't have it, but I'm not the same. I'm not that same person. Not that that was bad or not that that was insufficient. It's just I am not that same person anymore. So now when I look at that door, I don't have to keep it closed. I can actually step forward and reopen that door. Maybe I'll just start with a little peek. Maybe I don't want to swing it wide open right away, but I can at least give myself the opportunity to step into that situation again. But when we do things and we push past our capacity, or at least what we feel that our capacity is, and we do it from a place of knowing that God has brought us along in this journey, He's brought us to a broader place, a place of more stability, a place of more confidence, a place of more passion, a place of more strength. And we know that He is the one who has carried us through to this place. And we come through and we try that thing again and we see some different results. Maybe they won't be perfect. Maybe they're not an overwhelming flow like Peter and the other disciples had. Maybe it's just a little bit better. And you know what? That is something that could cause us to step back and say, wow, look what God is doing in me. Isn't that amazing? Look what He is birthing in me. Look how He's been with me. Look how He hasn't left me. Even back when I look back and I think, I really didn't feel as though He was with me quite as strongly, even though I know that He was in my head, but the awareness wasn't there. But now I'm looking and I'm saying, Lord, I know You're with me in this. And the fact that I was able to push past capacity and have a different result lets me know that You are awesome. You are holy. And it makes my heart open up and just want to worship Him and honor Him and thank Him for who He is and what He's been doing in me. So I just want to encourage you. Yes, in the past, that situation was overwhelming. That situation did overtake us, and that's understandable. And it left some residue. It left some negative feelings and negative memories, but we are not the same person. We have been on a journey, and God has been with us, and he's been bringing us into a place of increased capacity. We've grown bigger on the inside. We've grown stronger on the inside. We've realized that we can do things that are hard and survive, not just survive, but win and come out on top and be victorious. Whatever it is, whatever that unique thing is that God has in our plan, in our path, in our future, he brings us into that when we're willing to open the door again, because we need to see that God is big enough on the inside of us, and the work that he's doing within us in making us into the person that he originally designed us to be. It is enough to hold us. It is enough to carry us, and it is enough to be successful and to be able to overcome, even in situations that overcame us in the past. So be blessed, be strengthened, go forward, overcome. Maybe open up that door to that relationship. You said, I just couldn't handle that cousin. She was just too much for me. I couldn't handle that brother. He just got on all my nerves and I just couldn't stand to be around him. Well, you're not the same person that you were back then. Maybe give that relationship a try. Don't swing the door wide open. Just crack it open a little bit and see what happens. Take advantage of that opportunity. Take advantage of that open door and see what happens, and see if God won't stand up and show you that increased capacity on the inside. Thank you so much for joining me today. We care about you. We pray God's best for you, and we hope that we'll see you again next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.